From the lightning-fast blitzkrieg across Poland to the desperate final defense of Berlin's rubble, the German war machine relied on a vast and chaotic arsenal. This is every single infantry weapon used by Germany in World War II. Bolt-action rifles. Karabiner 98k, Kar98k. This is the Karabiner 98k, known simply to the troops as the K98. You can identify it by its shorter length compared to WW1 rifles and that distinct smooth Mauser bolt handle that defined a generation of firearms. It was the standard-issue workhorse for the Wehrmacht, serving on every front, from the burning sands of Africa to the freezing mud of Russia, proving rugged enough to fire even when neglected. Gewehr 98, G98. Next is the Gewehr 98, the grandfather of German military rifles. It features a noticeably longer barrel that gave it superior range, but made it incredibly clumsy to maneuver in modern trenches or mechanized vehicles. While obsolete, it was dusted off for snipers who valued its stability and rear echelon troops who desperately needed firepower when modern supplies ran dry. Gewehr 3340T. Here we have the Gewehr 3340, known as the mountain carabine. It sports a significantly shortened barrel and a protective metal plate on the stock specifically designed for smashing ice or using as a climbing aid. Mountain troops loved it for its light weight in the high Alps, even if the recoil from such a light gun kicked like a mule. Gewehr 24T. This is the Gewehr 24T, often called the Czech Mauser. It looks nearly identical to the K98, but features different sling swivels on the side and a straight bolt handle. The SS adopted this captured, reliable weapon in massive numbers, allowing them to bypass army supply lines and fill their expanding armories with high-quality gear. Gewehr 9840T. Then there's the Gewehr 9840, a Hungarian hybrid adopted out of sheer necessity. It uses a split-bridge receiver and a two-piece stock that sets it apart visually from standard Mauser designs. It served as a vital substitute when German factories couldn't keep up with the demand for rifles, proving just as lethal despite its foreign origins. Volkssturmgewehr 1, or the People's Rifle. It looks incredibly crude, featuring a rough, unfinished wooden stock and a simple rotating bolt that barely looks safe to fire. It was a last-ditch attempt to arm the Home Guard before the final collapse of the Reich, prioritizing speed of manufacture over soldier safety. Volkssturmgewehr 2 was a slightly better attempt at a last-stand weapon. It features a stamped metal receiver that looks like industrial scrap welded together in a hurry. Produced by Spraywork, it fed from G43 magazines to keep citizens fighting in 1945, proving that even ugly weapons could still kill. Stepping up the rate of fire, we move to the complications of semi-automatic rifles. Semi-automatic rifles. Gewehr 41W. This is the Gewehr 41W, an early flawed attempt to match Soviet firepower. You can spot the bulky gas trap cone sitting right at the muzzle, which threw off the weapon's balance. Soldiers despised it because that complex system constantly fouled and failed in the mud, often turning a semi-auto rifle into a heavy, awkward bolt-action rifle. Gewehr 43, Karabiner 43. The Gewehr 43, nicknamed Hitler's Garand, finally fixed those early mistakes. It ditched the muzzle trap for a cleaner, reliable gas piston system hidden under the handguard and added a detachable box magazine for faster reloads. It finally gave elite troops a reliable semi-auto to counter the Red Army's human waves without jamming every few shots. Now we enter the era of modern warfare with select fire and assault rifles. Select fire and assault rifles. Maschinen Karabiner 42H. The Maschinen Karabiner 42H is the true grandfather of the assault rifle. It fires from an open bolt, which you can hear rattling before the shot, a feature usually reserved for submachine guns. Field-tested in the frozen comb pocket, it proved that intermediate cartridges were the future of warfare, bridging the gap between heavy rifles and pistol-caliber SMGs. Sturmgewehr 44, STG-44. Behold the legendary Sturm rifle. Its curved magazine holds the revolutionary Kurz cartridge that changed infantry tactics forever, allowing soldiers to suppress enemies like a machine gunner. It gave a single soldier the firepower of a submachine gun with the effective range of a rifle, making it the envy of every Allied soldier who faced it. Fallschirmjäger 42G. This is the FG-42, a marvel of engineering built strictly for paratroopers. It feeds from a side-mounted magazine to keep the profile low during jumps and features a complex muzzle brake to tame its recoil. It acted as both a rifle and a light machine gun, though it was terrifyingly expensive to build, costing as much as a small car to produce. For close quarters chaos and trench clearing, we turn to the submachine guns. Submachine guns. Maschinenpistole 38, MP38. The MP38 was built specifically for tank crews and paratroopers who needed space. It features a machined steel receiver with distinct longitudinal grooves to save weight and provide a better grip. It was the first SMG to use a folding stock, making it perfect for cramped vehicles where a full wooden stock was a liability. Maschinenpistole 40, MP40. This is the famous MP40, incorrectly called the Schmeisser by the Allies. It replaced machined steel with stamped sheet metal and spot welding to drastically speed up mass production. It became the definitive weapon of the German squad leader, appearing in nearly every combat photo as the symbol of mechanized infantry. Maschinenpistole 34, MP34. The MP34 is often called the Rolls-Royce of SMGs due to its incredible finish. You can tell by its high-quality wooden stock and side-mounted magazine that takes stripper clips for easy reloading. The SS and police preferred this milled masterpiece over the cheaper stamped guns found in the Army, valuing craftsmanship over cost. MP3008. The MP3008, or Gerät Neumünster, was a clone born of pure desperation. It is a direct copy of the British Sten, with the magazine well pointing vertically down to distinguish it from the enemy's guns. It was a crude emergency tool for the final defense of Germany, often welded together in local workshops. Maschinenpistole 28, MP28. The MP28 served the police and early SS units during the rise of the Reich. It evolved from World War I designs, featuring a perforated barrel jacket and a side-mounted magazine that stuck out like a sore thumb. It saw heavy action in Poland before modern options took over the front line, but remained a deadly tool for rear-guard units. Irma EMP. The Irma EMP is a unique piece adopted by the SS and foreign volunteers. It stands out immediately due to the vertical foregrip built right into the wooden stock, giving the shooter excellent control. It filled the gap when standard MP40s were in short supply during the early campaigns, offering reliable firepower to elite divisions. From personal automatics, we move to the squad killers, the machine guns. Machine guns. Maschinengewehr 34, MG34. The MG34 was the world's first general-purpose machine gun. It features a distinctive perforated barrel jacket and intricate machining that looked more like a clock than a gun. While precise, it was sensitive to dirt, yet it revolutionized infantry tactics by offering mobile firepower that could move with the squad. Maschinengewehr 42, MG42. This is the MG42, feared as Hitler's Buzzsaw. It is instantly recognizable by its stamped rectangular receiver and a terrifying rate of fire that sounded like tearing linoleum. At 1,200 rounds per minute, it suppressed entire Allied squads single-handedly, forcing enemies to keep their heads down or be cut in half. Maschinengewehr 13, MG13. The MG13 was the bridge between the world wars. It feeds from a side-mounted 25-round box magazine rather than a belt, limiting its sustained fire capability. Though largely relegated to training, it saw combat in the early invasions of Poland and France, proving that even older designs could still hold the line. Maschinengewehr 08, MG08. The MG08 is the heavy Spandau of World War I. Its massive water jacket kept the barrel cool for indefinite firing, provided the crew kept the water tank full. It defended the Atlantic Wall, pouring sustained fire on landing troops when mobility didn't matter, acting as a stationary anchor of defense. MG15. The MG15 started its life in the skies before hitting the ground. You can identify it by the distinct 75-round saddle drum sitting on top, giving it a very distinct silhouette. Luftwaffe ground troops used it to spray lead when standard infantry MGs ran out of supply, repurposing aircraft guns for trench warfare. To stop enemy armor, infantry relied on these portable anti-tank weapons. Anti-tank weapons. Panzerbuchse 39. The Panzerbuchse 39 was the early war answer to armor. It uses a falling block action to fire a tiny tungsten cord bullet at incredible speeds, requiring the shooter to manually load each round. It worked on light tanks in Poland, but bounced harmlessly off later heavy armor, becoming little more than a heavy nuisance. Panzerfaust. The Panzerfaust, or tank fist, democratized anti-tank warfare. It consists of a simple tube with firing instructions printed right on the side and a bulbous, shaped charge warhead. It was a disposable, one-shot killer that made every infantryman a lethal threat to tanks, forcing Allied armor to keep their distance. Raketenpanzerbuchse 54, Panzerschreck. This is the Panzerschreck, better known as the Tank Terror. It looks like a scaled-up American bazooka, but adds a shield to protect the gunner from the rocket's burning propellant. It terrified Allied tankers with its ability to kill heavy armor from a distance, giving infantry a reusable punch against Shermans and T-34s. Haftholladung 3. This is the terrifying Panzerknacker, or tank breaker. It features 3 strong magnets at its base to stick directly to steel, looking like a deadly bottle. Tank hunters had to run up and attach this manually to the enemy hull, a job only for the brave or the suicidal. Panzerwurfmine. The Panzerwurfmine is a handheld anti-tank grenade designed for accuracy. When thrown, canvas fins pop out of the handle to stabilize its flight, ensuring the warhead hits at the perfect angle. It allowed infantry to attack armor from cover without a heavy launcher, filling the gap between grenades and rockets.
For personal defense, officers and pilots carried these handguns. Handguns. Pistola 08 Luger. This is the iconic Luger, instantly recognizable by its silhouette. You can't miss the unique toggle lock action that snaps upwards when fired, a complex mechanism that hated trench dirt. It was a prized trophy for Allied soldiers and a symbol of the German officers' corps, valued more for its status than its combat utility. Pistola 38 P38. The P38 was the modern workhorse that replaced the Luger. It was the first military pistol to successfully use a double-action, single-action trigger, allowing the hammer to be safely dropped on a live round. Reliable and cheaper to make, it served frontliners until the very end, proving to be one of the best sidearms of the war. Walther PP and PPK. The Walther PP and its smaller brother, the PPK, were designed for concealability and police use. These compact blowback pistols fit easily into a pilot's vest or an officer's holster, ready for immediate use. They were strictly for personal defense when the enemy was too close, offering a final line of resistance. Browning High Power. This is the Pistola 640B, commonly known as the Browning High Power. It holds a massive 13 rounds, far more than German designs which typically held only 8. The SS and paratroopers grabbed every one produced in occupied Belgium, prizing the extra ammo capacity for intense firefights.
Supporting the squad with explosive power were these specialized infantry weapons. Infantry support. Granatwerfer 34. The Granatwerfer 34 was the standard 8-centimeter mortar. It looks like a simple tube, but it was deadly accurate in experienced hands, capable of dropping shells into enemy foxholes. It provided the infantry battalion with its own rapid-fire artillery support, silencing machine gun nests without calling for heavy guns. Flammenwerfer 41. The Flammenwerfer 41 brought terror to the trenches and bunkers. It features a 2-tank system carried on the operator's back, one for fuel, one for propellant. Pioneers used it to clear bunkers, flushing out defenders with liquid fire and psychological horror that few could withstand. Schießbecher. The Schießbecher is the standard rifle grenade cup found in every squad. It's a rifled steel cup that screws directly onto the Kar98k muzzle, launching grenades using a special wooden bullet blank. It turned a standard rifleman into a grenadier, capable of knocking out light armor or machine gun nests from a safe distance. Kampfpistole. The Kampfpistole transformed a simple flare gun into a lethal weapon. The Z model features a rifled barrel to fire explosive rounds accurately, rather than just signaling smoke. It gave soldiers a pocket-sized grenade launcher for urban combat, perfect for firing through windows or cellars. Steelhunt Granata 44-43. This is the Steelhunt Granata, the famous potato masher. Its long wooden handle provided leverage for incredible throwing distance, far outranging Allied grenades. Unlike Allied fragmentation grenades, it relied on pure blast pressure to clear rooms, making it devastating in enclosed spaces like bunkers. Finally, the Wehrmacht made extensive use of captured weapons to fill the gaps. Captured weapons. The PPSH-41, or Papasha, was a prize of the Eastern Front. Its high-capacity drum magazine offered firepower the Germans couldn't match with their own MP40s. It was so effective in urban combat that the Wehrmacht officially adopted it, even converting some to fire German ammunition. The SVT-40 is the Soviet semi-automatic rifle found in the hands of Red Army NCOs. German troops loved its rapid fire compared to their bolt-action K98Ss and captured them whenever possible. It was so advanced that German engineers reverse-engineered its gas system to fix their own failing G43 design. The Mosin Nagant. It served as the Gewehr 252R. It's a rugged, simple bolt-action rifle captured in the millions during the early invasion of Russia. Germany issued these to rear guards and foreign volunteers to free up K98s for the front, proving that quantity has a quality all its own. And there you have it, the complete arsenal of German infantry weapons from World War II.